then, Madam Speaker, I don't know what is.
I believe this is the most unfair, politically biased, rigged process that I have seen in my entire life.
If Republicans want to defend the president's indefensible behavior, they can do so.
I believe that
It's down to around 34.
Too many street parties.
Money. At the time, Iran retaliated with fury at his assassination by carrying out a ballistic missile attack on a U.S. military base in western Iraq that left dozens of American troops injured. Just after.
When they were building the Capitol Visitor Center in 2006, who crashed their car into the construction area and ran up the steps and ran in.
They come up with this number of 6 feet. I think they just pulled it out of their rear ends. Maybe it's 5. Maybe it's 3.5.
Political statement. Let's get off this China thing. And then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk.
Hey guys, it's me, James, from This Beautiful Crazy Life. This is an unscripted video. I thought I needed to say something, right? This is a very hectic time for the American people. And I just wanted, I'm trying to think here, like, what can I really add to this conversation? Is it better for me to remain silent? I didn't write anything down. This is just thoughts I've had over the day. With people with a much larger platform than me, with people who are much smarter than me, with people who are more well-written and more elegant, do I really have something to add? And I'll let you guys decide that, but I think it's important that we speak into these conversations. And so I just want to say a couple things. I have 2 main thoughts, and hopefully they are coherent, but I'm deeply saddened by what I saw today. For those who know me personally, you guys know that I have been a previous life a political activist, and since I was in 5th grade, I just had such an interest in politics and being involved, and I've always just believed in the idea of a pluralistic Western liberal democracy. And I don't mean liberal in the sense of like Democrat. I mean liberal in the idea of individual liberty and strong institutions that allow for human flourishing the best we can in the form of a government. Because throughout history, what has the world gone? They've had monarchs and dictatorships and mob rule and, warlords, and it's constant this instability. And even today, I mean, the majority of the world may have democracy on paper, but there's no real democratic or republic institutions. It's just complete shams. And I've been thinking a lot, I think for a lot of Americans, we sometimes believe we live in a country that's not a democratic republic. I think sometimes we think we live in somewhere like we live in some failed state in South America. And we all do this. We all use this kind of ridiculous language. Even I'm guilty of this. And yes, our institutions have problems, especially recently over the last, I'll say 30 years, our institutions by politicians, the American public, corporate interest, and everything in between has pushed many of our institutions to their brink. And yet it continues to show stability. And we're a country that's over 250 years of stability. And I think the American project is still worth working on, right? I actually still believe in this country, believe it or not. I still believe in the ideas of American institutions. And while I don't buy in the concept of American exceptionalism, I do think that Western style democracy is the best we can do in any form of government. And some people disagree with that. right? Some people think there's something better. But if you look at the world and where stability is, a lot of times it's in Western democracies. And of course, you have somewhere like China, which is authoritarianism and has a completely different set. But they suffer from lack of political rights completely. I mean, you have a whole group of Muslim minorities there that are being discriminated against and being put in concentration camps. Not good, right? Now, America is not perfect. We have tons of issues to this day. And we have a horrible history of racism and our native reservations and Japanese internment camps. I mean, there's just, the list can go on. We've overthrown governments, literally overthrown governments. These aren't conspiracy theories. This is a real thing, right? But we also try to do the right thing because there's something about the values of our Constitution, even though it's not perfect, but this kind of idea that you can actually change your government and be involved. Like, we were one of the first countries to, allow women, not allow, but give women the right to vote, right? We have people from all over the world still come here for economic opportunity and freedom. Still. We are the first multinational, multi-ethnic democracy ever, right? Other countries do not have the amount of foreigners or people born of different ethnicities. Like, I've been to different countries in the world. Everyone looks the same. They have these small minority populations. Like somewhere in France, if you grew up in Morocco, it can be really hard to become French. You know how hard it is to get a French citizenship? Well, in the United States, if you're born here, you're considered an American. And if you stay here for a few years, you get to be part of this experiment known as the American democracy. I think it can be really easy to be discouraged today. And really over the last year, you can look at everything in the last year and say to yourself, this place is doomed. This place is done. There's nothing left. But I think of people who've come before us, the revolutionaries, the activists, the people who came from oppression and wanted to be free, the people who knew there was something more. Whether it was consumer activists or religious activists, whether it was the progressive and socialist movement of the 19th and early 20th century, right? The civil rights movement, abolitionist. Whether the founding fathers themselves, unions, smart business people, innovators. We have some of the greatest, this country has produced so many entrepreneurs, right? In a lot of ways, that's changing, I think Sweden has the most entrepreneurs per capita. China's probably going to be the largest economy of all time. But that's not the only thing that makes a country great. I think our values make us really great. And I actually believe in American values. And we need to work to make sure those values are true, that everyone born gets the same opportunity to succeed if they can. And that people are taken care of. And just because you're born poor doesn't mean you starve in the street. You ever been to a really poor country where there's no social safety net or no job opportunities? I think America's something. And I don't think it's perfect. I'm not like, you'll see many Republicans, conservatives say this is the greatest thing ever of all time. But I think we're pretty awesome. And I'm not like some liberals now who are like, America's completely rotten to its core because of its past. But look at what we've been able to do in just a short amount of time. But also not ignoring the historical oppression and pain and slavery. I don't think we have to oppose those things together. They're part of one story. So I'm not hopeless. I sometimes I think I'm a pessimist by nature, but I've been kind of thinking about this, and I'm not hopeless. I actually believe that if we as Americans step up, we can do something. Now, this part here is for my fellow Christians, my brothers and sisters in America right now, and anywhere. Over the summer, I was reading through the book of Isaiah. And for those who don't know, the book of Isaiah was a prophet. And he wrote a lot of different things. And it's one of the longest, he's called one of the major prophets, one of the longest books in the Bible. Or maybe it is the longest, I can't remember. but it's long, right? I haven't finished it. I always go back to it. But when I was reading it this summer, something stood out to me. And it's in Isaiah 3. And it's called Judgment on Judah and Jerusalem. That's what it's titled. And in here, I'm going to just read something for you, okay? It's in Isaiah chapter 3. For behold, the Lord God of hosts is taken away from Jerusalem and from Judah. Support and supply, all support of bread, all support of water, you mighty man and the soldier, the judge and the prophet, the diviner and the elder, the captain of 50, the man of rank, the counselor of skillful magician and the expert in charms. And I'll make boys their princes, and infants shall rule over them, and the people will oppress one another. Everyone is fellow, and everyone is neighbor. The youth will be so insolent to the elders, and the despised to the honorable. So it goes on in here. You guys just need to. You should read it. You should read it. God's judging in this story here. What Isaiah is talking about is is judging or is planning to judge you guys. And how he's going to do that is going to leave you to your own devices. He's going to actually be absent and let you just suffer in your terrible leadership. So when the Bible's saying things like, I will make boys their princes, what he's saying is, I'm going to allow immature, incomplete leaders to lead your country. Now, I'm not saying what's happening today is some God's judgment, right? There's plenty of prophets who are doing that. What I'm saying is our lack of leadership as Christians is leading to a church that's in disarray, and we're not helping our country the best we can. And you don't have to be Christian to even take this message, guys. Just think about it this way. When is the last time you say we can have good leadership? You know, I was talking to someone the other day because I plan on doing a video on my top 10 presidents for President's Day. And I was just ranking presidents. And one thing I saw was like, dude, after the end of like the middle of the 20th century, we've had not very strong presidential leadership. You know, I see, you're looking at those protests out there. People are storming the Capitol building. You have people waving a Jesus flag. What is that? What are you aligned to, right? You have people believing in all types of wackiness. We vote for the same people over and over who don't have any character or consistency. I've seen people on that Senate floor who have lied directly in ads. And then they're going to look in that camera and say, we need to make sure we protect our democracy. When you've been playing into these people's insecurities and real pain. You, senators, representatives, politicians. You can't keep playing into this stuff and then acting like this is not going to happen. That's crazy to me. We as humans, Christians, conservatives, liberals, whatever group you throw yourself into, we're responsible for this country. And it's really easy for us to blame and point at each other. And there's so many reasons why this country has the issues it has, from decisions that we had no impact on because we weren't even alive, to decisions we make today. Decisions we make today. What we need to do is look at our character individually, and the character of our families, and the character of our neighborhoods, and the character of our leadership, and we need to make a fundamental shift. And this is for the Christian in particular. We are called to walk in the Spirit. And I think I need to say myself, I haven't always done that when it came to political issues. I have a lot of strong opinions. I'm combative at times. You see me now, man, I'm just like pumped up. That's just my character. But that's not an excuse for me to continue to make terrible decisions. At some point, we have to grow. So when are we going to grow as a country? I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? You think this made sense? Am I wrong on this for wanting more and still believing in this country? I don't know. But what I saw today just really made me sad. So, I don't know, guys. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord shine his counts upon you and be gracious to you. Go and serve the Lord with joy. I'll see you guys later.